We are live with Lunch Break Live. Kiirstin Marilyn, who is a singer, songwriter, actress, and activist. What are you making today?
So I'm making a vegan eggplant parm. Doing my best, not a cook. There are actually many steps to this. So this is kind of the first step, and I was going to show you. So the very first step is cutting your eggplant, obviously, which we already did into like half-inch pieces,
Nice.
half-inch rounds, as they say.
Yes.
And then the next step is actually kind of like rubbing it down with salt. And you don't have to worry about like how much salt you're putting on this. You just want to get a good amount of salt on it because we're going to wash it off. So you let it sit with the salt for about 15 minutes. And I have these other ones that actually have been sitting in the salt for a while now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to rinse off my hands.
Okay, phenomenal. If you're just joining us, we are on Lunch Break Live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. All right, Kiirstin, take it away.
So after you've done your salt rub and you let the eggplant rounds sit there for about 15 minutes, you are going to rinse them off and put them on a clean kitchen towel. I think you guys can all see that. And then you're going to put another towel on top of that. And you're going to rest something. I actually have a bunch of water in here because I'm going to be making the pasta in this. So you kind of like put it on top to kind of squeeze out all the water. So really like any kitchen thing you can find that like is going to dry those out, and you let that sit for another like 15 or so minutes. So then after that, after those are dry-ish, you have your dipping station. So this is, the recipe calls for almond milk, but I prefer oat, so I've never done it with oat milk, so I hope it actually works out. I can't imagine why it wouldn't. So this is just half a cup of oat milk and a teaspoon of cornstarch. This is just a bowl of flour, all-purpose flour, and I actually bought this today. I thought it looked pretty cool. It's King Arthur, and it's organic, all-purpose, and it's employee-owned, so I thought that was actually a really cool thing about it, so that's why I bought it. So the next thing we're going to do is take these and start dipping them. And you dip them in your almond or your oat milk thing first with the cornstarch, then dip it in the flour, and then the last thing you're going to do is dip it in. What I opted to do this last thing, it calls for panko breadcrumbs and Parmesan cheese. I'm up here in the Catskills, so my options are very limited, so I actually couldn't find any vegan parm. Usually, I'm in the city usually, so obviously that stuff is really easy to come by. But up here, it was sort of a hard thing to find. So I opted for nutritional yeast. And actually, the recipe says that you can use nutritional yeast. And I opted for, these were the only vegan breadcrumbs I could find. I'm trying to like.
Awesome. Vegan breadcrumbs. Yeah. Look at this. Very cool.
I've never heard of this brand before. I usually buy it. Actually, the recipe calls for panko. This is not panko. These are just regular breadcrumbs. But what are the ingredients? Rice flour, water, yeast, salt, cane sugar. So yeah. So these were the only ones in the entire store up here in the Catskills that I could find that didn't have like eggs or whey. Actually, I don't think any of them have eggs, but they definitely have like non-fat dry milk or whey. So
yes.
And actually, no, there was another gluten-free one that contained eggs. So this is the only one that didn't have those things.
And Nora K said, Nora K says, great idea to sub out to put the sub nutritional yeast for vegan parm. Yes, we have a question for you. Did you soak the eggplant overnight in the salt water like Aunt Virginia used to? Okay, just wondering.
No, I did not. I actually only, I didn't even know that was a thing, but I only put it in for, or I only had them soaking in the salt for about 15 minutes. And that's all that the recipe calls for. And it kind of like, I mean, they're pretty soft, and you can see they're very different than when I first cut them. They're kind of, now you see like how bendy they are, which they were not before.
Got it. So that softens them. Is that the reason for putting them in there? Yes.
It softens them and it makes them less bitter also. So it kind of like, it takes the bitterness out of the eggplant. So sorry, I keep like having to wash my hands.
No, it's great. Thank you for joining us here on Lunch Break Live. You know Kiirstin from being on several of our music shows. And Kiirstin is a musician. She's amazing. She's also got some kind of comedy act. I can't wait to hear about that as well.
Yeah. Do you want to hear about that now?
Well, we'll keep cooking, and we'll add that in as you go. I'm so fascinated. So you soaked the eggplant in some water, then you put the salt, then you put the pan on top. Now you are putting it in the breadcrumbs, right? Yeah, cool.
Now I'll try to like put this down like a little. Now I've got my 3 dipping stations. I actually think I did it in the wrong order, but it's definitely the almond milk with cornstarch first. Then it's these breadcrumb, nutritional yeast, oregano, and salt thing. I haven't made this recipe in a really long time.
I'm so impressed, Kiirstin. So I just want to say hi, a shout out to Christy and Tom. Tara, she says she's going to try this. We got Betty Ann Cornwall watching, and we've got Nora Kay and Tom, Mary Ellen, all the way from Delaware. We also have Vincent. Hello, Vincent, who says Viva Aubergine. Yes. Diana says she loves eggplant parmesan. Hello, Tina, saying hello, ladies, to us as well. Wow, what a crowd. What a crowd pleaser. Kiirstin is cooking this up for us. This is super cool. I know this is out of your wheelhouse, and we love to have variety. We love to have variety on our show. We have some regulars like Chef Linda, who is up there at the Catskill Animal Sanctuary, is a regular. She's a chef up there, and she is a regular on our show, as well as we have people who do all kinds of work in the animal liberation space, as well as the climate justice space, vegan chefs, all the way making plant-based food. That's right. That's what we do here on Lunch Break Live Daily. So very cool, very cool. Yes, there is a person walking around back with at Kiirstin's house. Okay. Life is happening over there. Exactly. Okay. So now, do you put them back onto where do you put them once you've done all this fun magic?
Yeah. So I preheated, sorry, I forgot to say, I preheated the oven to 400. I'm putting them, they're going on this pan here. I probably had to put oil on it. Maybe. I don't know. Sorry.
We're okay. We're good.
We will put the real recipe up, so don't exactly follow everything I'm doing, because I don't know what I'm doing.
What's fun is that you are showing what it's really like when you're making food, sometimes for the first time, or I mean, you do know what you're doing over there. I can tell. By the way,
I've made this recipe before, but it's probably been a couple of years. I'm sure everyone knows about purple carrot. So we usually opt for purple carrot. There's less food waste. I'm not the best cook. Like, I will eat raw tofu. Like, don't even have to. You can just give me a hunk of tofu and I will eat that with nothing. So for me to like cook things, it's kind of a big deal.
I love it. Okay, now tell us a little bit about your comedy, your music, as well as your activism up there in New York. I know you've done some incredible actions up there, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're up to while you're dipping and laying those down? Fabulous. We love it. Go for it.
I'm like, can I multitask? Can I think
Yes,
about multiple things?
you can do.
Um,
You're a musician. Yes, you can.
So yeah, I am an activist in New York City. We're up in the Catskills right now because there's actually four of us, four vegans. We are turning this house into an Airbnb situation. Um, so that's why we're up here, and I think the internet is actually working pretty okay right now, from what I can see.
Yeah, we're doing
But
great.
yeah, so that's why we're up here, but I'm normally in New York. I started doing animal rights activism over a decade ago, before I was vegan, with the horse carriages. I just remember seeing, I remember walking by Central Park and seeing the horse carriages there and just thinking, like, this is the most awful thing. Like, they look miserable and this is so terrible, and how could we be doing this? And I was like, somebody's got to do something about this. And literally the next day I saw like a telephone booth ad with Leah Michelle's face on it, and a horse, and it was for Nye Class, which is the group in New York, working to get the horse carriages off the streets. And I was like, that's a sign. And so I looked them up and I started going to the different actions that they had. But it wasn't really until then I started, like, I would go to other things, like, for protests, and I became like vegetarian. And it really wasn't until I went vegan, though, in 2016 that I really started to put it all together and really became even more involved and kind of found the community. I like being involved with the horse carriage stuff. There's a lot of people on like the Upper East Side. They're not vegan, but they do care about the horse carriage issue. And I just felt like I never really got like too involved in that, because I was like, these are not really my people. But once I went vegan and I started getting involved in like vegan activism, I was like, okay, I've found, like, I have some of my best friends now from having gotten involved in vegan activism, things like AV, and now we have Vegan Activists Alliance. And I actually found the March of Silence, which was obviously started out in LA, by Chef and a bunch of other people. So I brought it over to New York and created a chapter for New York. And then doing, obviously, the going to like the wet markets. And we don't have the major like trucks that come through the way that you do in LA with like the pigs and stuff, but we do have poultry wet markets, so going and bearing witness to those. Obviously COVID got things slowing down a little bit, but it feels like we're sort of ramping up again and trying to like find our footing and see how we start up again. So I've always done music. I've always been a performer basically my whole life, and I felt like I had something to say, but I didn't know what that was really until I went vegan and really became an activist. So my last album, it's called There Are No Cats in America, and it was produced by my good friend Adam Tilzer, and it's got vegan tracks on there, and then obviously, it's got like feminist tracks and other social justice tracks, but I would say half the album is like vegan activist tracks, and it was really important for me to convey that message in my music, because I just felt like, okay, I've been trying to find my voice in music for a number of years now, and I feel like finally I found it. I figured out like what it is that I want to talk about and what I want my music platform to say. So, and yeah, so the album came out in fall of 2020. It's actually my first album ever. I've only ever created EPs before, but you can go on Spotify, you can find the album, you can find my old stuff, but It's all right. The old stuff is just okay. But I'm really proud of this album, and we put a lot of work into it. It took about 2 years to create. And yeah, I think, you'll find there are some really, I mean, if I do say so myself, some very impactful songs. There's a song called The Takers, and the Takers, if you can guess, are human beings. And it's just all about how we take and take and take from all our fellow Earthlings, and are just like kind of horrible monsters. And then there's a hip hop track called AETA, and it's the Animal Enterprise Terrorism Act, and we've got 4 MCs on that did a fantastic job. And yeah, I would love for you guys to just go to Spotify, Apple Music. You can actually download it also from my website, kiirstinmarilyn.com, which in that case, all the money comes directly to me. It did cost a lot of money to record the album, so I do appreciate any downloads direct from my website. But you can stream on Spotify, you can stream on Apple Music, you can stream on Tidal, you can stream on YouTube. Really, anywhere where you stream music, you can stream the album. I'm just like getting all the stuff does get really stuck to your fingers.
Amazing. Okay, so what is next? The recipe to get back to, because you said something about it being Parmesan. Do we have sauce that's going into this as well? I'm curious.
There is marinara sauce, but right now, so I've got these on here, and they're going to go in the oven for like 20 minutes.
Amazing. What a great story to hear what's happening in Kiirstin's world, how you can find her music as well. All right, keep going. We're going to see what's next in this incredible vegan Parmesan revealed with the eggplant. Take it away.
So, while that's in there, it's actually, I might pull it out before it's actually done because it's going to take a little while. We'll make some pasta also to go with our eggplant parm, because of course. So I bought this, where did I put it? Sorry. I got this stuff. It's brown rice pasta. I actually do prefer like a quinoa pasta, but so this should be interesting. Yeah, they had a whole gluten-free section. There's this grocery store called Hannaford. I've never heard of it in my entire life before coming up here to the Catskills. Excuse me. But yeah, there's a brand called Andy's, and it's like quinoa flour and rice flour, and I prefer that, but we're going to go with the brown rice pasta today. And I got our, some Newman's Own marinara, because why not?
Love it. Sounds amazing. Yes.
And then I don't remember whether you throw mozzarella shreds on it or not, but of course you can. Never too much cheese. So at the end, when you are putting the eggplant in for the last time to bake, I would throw some mozzarella on top of it to melt and bake on top of it. You obviously don't have to do that if you don't want to. So we can pretend like we're done with that. The eggplant is done in the oven. And you're going to crisp up the eggplant. So we don't need to see water boiling, so I'm just going to move that.
And we do have a question. We're wondering if we could put these into the air fryer, the eggplant. What is your thoughts on that?
I bet you could. I've actually never used an air fryer in my life. I guarantee that you could do that, because the next thing I'm going to do after I take them out of the oven is I'm going to fry them on the pan, and then you put them back in the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure that you could use an air fryer, and I'm sure that would actually be slightly healthier, since I'm going to use oil in the pan.
Sure.
Trying to get away from, oil and stuff, but this recipe is definitely kind of indulgent. So I tried to do it in the healthiest way possible.
We love it. We love it. We do all kinds of things here on Lunch Break Live. So people, folks that are watching out there, thank you so much for watching us here on Lunch Break Live. And you can adapt the way it fits your lifestyle, your diet, your choices. Absolutely. Okay, take it away, Kiirstin. What's next? So she breaded and dipped and breaded those eggplant. Yes. And now we are going to the next step. I'm so excited to see it. Take it away.
Okay, I'm trying to, I should have opened this before. Okay, there we go. I'm out of, this is gonna be like way too much oil. I'm out of the oil that's in my little thing, so I'm just gonna do it like that. That's a total mess. Don't do it that way. But
no
this is how I'm
worries.
doing it.
This is how we do it. Okay, I just want to say hello to a few people who are watching with us. Wow, we've got such a crowd. Nilesh and Tara, we said yes, hello, Christy and Tom, Betty Ann. And we also have a few people that joined here that I've never, Beverly Dunn Buckley is watching as well. Dominique and let's see, Sylvia. Hello, Sylvia. Hannah. And Vincent, yep, and Christine, hello there, as well as Federica and Kiirstin, and woo, here we go. Some new names here. Theralacia, Trisha, hello there. Welcome to Lunch Break Live. Jeannie is watching. Rosemarie. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. We've got Patrick, Martha, Ann, as well as Clarissa. And Federica again, yes, popped back in. Tina, Janine, Natalie, and more. Let's go. We got this. Woo!
Okay, so I have pulled up the recipe that's reminding me of how this all goes. So I have the eggplant in the oven right now. We dipped it in the 3 stations. It's in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes. While it's in the oven, you're going to take out a few at a time and fry them in the pan, and that for 2 minutes, and then put them back. So we actually can leave these in the oven right now. I'm going to do my best to take a couple out and not injure myself.
Okay. All right, everybody, you are watching live here on Jane Unchained News Network. We're bringing to you cooking shows every single day, 365. You never know who's going to show up behind the camera cooking. It might be somebody who is a first-time chef, because we like to show how you can do it too. So, all right, back to you, Kiirstin.
Yeah, so I think like this recipe can take a little bit, but at the same time, I like making it, and I'm not a cook at all. So I don't particularly enjoy being in the kitchen. I like other people to cook for me. So I think this is actually a recipe that anybody can make. It's, once you know the steps, it's fairly simple. There's nothing too crazy about it. It's really not too many ingredients. And yeah, it's like, I just find it to be pretty simple. That's why, when you asked me if I would do this, I was like, well, I'm gonna make the one dish I know. And I think the reason I know it, I know it because it's a simple dish, and I've made it multiple times over the years, because I won't say it's quick, but it's easy. It's definitely easy.
Well, what's so much fun, Kiirstin, is how you're just showing us what it would be like in the kitchen. I'm not much of a chef either. So I cook on Lunch Break Live when I'm cooking. I basically make like a tofu scramble. That's what I know how to make. Or I even have a show that we show people how to do the easy breezy steps of switching out and swapping out. So here we have the eggplant in the pan. Let's take a look. How long do you put them on each side in that pan with a little bit of oil? What do you suggest?
2 minutes on each side. You can see, I think you can see that one got nice and fried up. This is the one where I messed up the order, and I actually put it in the flour first. Flour goes last. So you dip it in your, I opted for oat milk. You can do whatever. I think you can do whatever plant milk you want. I opted for oat milk, and there's a teaspoon of cornstarch in there. Then you dip it in your, I had nutritional yeast rather than the vegan parm just because I couldn't find it. So it's nutritional yeast, breadcrumbs, a little bit of salt, a little bit of oregano, and then the last thing is you dip it in your flour, and then it's basically ready to go in the oven, and then you do this step. I think that can do with a little bit more on that side. And you'll see that you'll put this back in too, and you'll take a couple more out.
Yes, you are live here with us, coming to you live on Lunch Break Live. Hey, Tom, she does not use a vegan egg mixture. You know, I suppose you could. There's probably recipes that call for that, but just a little review. Yeah. Take us through the steps if you want to, just real quickly. We have a lot of people right now.
There's no egg or sub for egg at all. I mean, I guess if you wanted to have it be more of like a kind of pancake fry, then you could use the egg, but you don't need it for this recipe. It's literally just this oat milk, cornstarch, and the breadcrumbs, and what I have is nutritional yeast or Parmesan, and then the flour. I mean, of course you can make the recipe any way you want, probably. I mean, people like to experiment. I don't, because I don't know what I'm doing in the kitchen. My mom loves to experiment, and for my mom, like, going vegan was the best thing for her because she got to experiment with all these different foods. For me, I'm just like, Mom, can you cook for me?
Oh my gosh. Yes. And veganizing recipes that we grew up on as well. That is phenomenal. Your mom is vegan. Woohoo, Mom. That's incredible. What a beautiful experience for you to be able to share that. My daughter's vegan. Okay, wait, show us how these crisped up. Look how good those look. Yeah, I know. Oh, it's amazing.
Now I'm actually going to put it back in the oven.
Okay, so they were in the oven. They came out. Those look incredible, how crispy they are.
Yeah, now they're going back in, and I'm going to take the last of these out. Probably going to have to put a little more oil in the pan. But yeah, those will go back in. I should have set a timer. That would have been really smart.
Well, we are going to be ending our broadcast shortly, so we're going to work with whatever we got to bring it home, a home run with this. Look how amazing these are turning out, you all. And then how does it go into the pan? Do we layer them? Like, how does that work?
This pan?
No, I mean,
or the one in the oven.
do you
eat it?
How do you eat it? How do we go from here?
So I'm going to I put a 20-minute timer on. So for those that are in there already, and then these are going to go back in with those. Towards the end of that time, I'm going to take them out for a second and throw some of that, this Violife cheese on and let that kind of like melt on top. My water is not boiled yet, but obviously everybody knows how to make pasta. And then just gonna, when your pasta's done, you'll put that with the marinara sauce, and you'll throw the eggplant on top of that. And I can obviously, you know, when I'm all done with this, I'll send photos of the finished product, and you'll get to see, you know, what it looks like when it's done.
Absolutely. We are so excited that we got to see you make this delicious eggplant right here, everybody. This is This is extraordinary because now you know how to make the eggplant. You're just going to layer in the dish with the pasta and the sauce and the delicious vegan cheese. The whole thing is vegan. We are so excited you joined us here on Lunch Break Live. Betty Ann says, thank you, ladies. And all the other participation we had in this show was so much fun. Again, you're going to head over to Kiirstin Marilyn on Instagram, head over to her website, download her music, get educated on more great news about what she has coming up. Head over to her Instagram. She does lives over there as well. And we just thank you so much for being our chef of the day. Oh my gosh, Tom even said, well, listen, and Tom says, bring her back. More segments, please. Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. I can make some pancakes next time.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I love it. Thank you so much for your time and your time, because I know you're a busy lady making music and doing all the other difference that you make. Dominique is clapping for you. Thanks, everybody, for watching here on Lunch Break Live. We'll catch you next time, 12:30 daily. And oh, yeah, we'll see you soon, everybody. Lunch Break Live will take you out with those delicious eggplants. Look at those. Woo! There they are. Love it. Thank you so much, Kiirstin. We appreciate you. And thanks everybody for watching. See you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.